Hi there, and welcome to African Student Voice on AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa. African Student Voice is brought to you by the Association of African Universities, Accra, Ghana, and I'm your host, Ajiban Otredakum. Today's show will be very special because we'll be showing you a lot of things that perhaps you may not known about, but it is really happening in the African continent, and we've left them to be. Today we're discussing how can we project the young African inventors? How can we project them? The truth is that we have so many people out there, young Africans, who are developing things, innovative gadgets out there, who have not gotten the attention of the private sector, neither even government, and they are just wearing off with their talent. As we live in Africa and put our hands all by ourselves and say we have nothing to show for the world. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, I'll let you know my guest for today and also what we have for you to see the skill in Africa. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I was really good at memorizing and all of that, but I saw that it didn't really help me in real life. So this is the right place for me because these are the skills that I want to get in this age that I'm currently at.
I feel lucky because I always wanted to travel around the world, but that seems to be sometimes hard, and this place brings the majority, like the totality of the continent in here, and I feel lucky for that because it brings you more opportunity, more insight, more culture, more understanding for other people.
Early Rwanda has definitely been community, just learning to be there for other people and allow people to be there for you even when it seems tough. That has been a big lesson for me, and I feel that this is the one thing that I would definitely love to carry home. To always not judge people and just be open for people, be around, be there, simply.
I feel like ALU was the school destined for me. I've always known about the state of the continent from a very theoretical standpoint, and I feel like ALU was the school that was going to offer a unique perspective and unique understanding of the state of the continent as it is now.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, African Student Voice on AU TV. I'm your host, Ajibo Achudako. With me in the studio today, I have Pamela Abuajua Mante, SRC President for the Ghana Technology University College. And I have with me Richmond Ejare, an MBA student at the University of Professional Studies, School of Graduate Studies. Nice people, you are welcome to African Student Voices.
Thank you very much.
Fair. I must say that this is the only show in Africa that's really passionate about talking about matters transforming the African continent's youth to be better leaders for the future. And I couldn't get anybody else to speak to this matter than you because you've been it and you understand the skill we have in Africa. We are talking about how can we project the unsung African inventors, the young African inventors, who are really making things happen in their small communities in Africa, but are not known on the world map and are not being supported or are not even given that formal education because if they are just applying their informal skills. So let's begin with the question. Do African youths have that talent or that tech skills or not? Do we? Pamela, do we have the skills?
Yeah, thank you. And I would say Africa is very talented.
Okay.
We can notice Africa with resources, natural resources and human resources and all that. But when it comes to talent, energy, we have it. And Africa has this youth that they quickly transform things,
Okay.
quickly adjust to situations, quickly move things to become what it has to be.
Okay.
And you can cite so many examples from slave trade era. The time slave trade was ongoing. Why the target was Africans? It lifted African youth to go and develop their nations, their continents. Why was it so? So, okay, let's bring it back. Assuming we have it in the reverse way, that we have our own people developing our own youth, you should know what we have here in Africa.
Yeah.
There is a lot in our youth, there is a lot in our women, there is a lot in our men a lot in our children, and a lot in our old men head. A lot of wisdom here in Africa.
Sure.
So I wouldn't say that, fine, we are here at this level of development. I wouldn't blame anybody, but I would blame how it started.
Okay. Okay.
How the whole movie started.
All right.
Yes.
We'll get to that's how it started, right? We want to just speak to the issue that would you want to say that we have skillful people in Africa when it comes to technology without formal education?
Okay, for me, I see that Africa is holistically endowed. Okay, so when it comes to skills, technology-wise, we are getting there, but we are not there yet. All right, probably we'll go into talking about some of the challenges and all that. But for now, I think that we have the skill set now to develop as a nation.
Okay.
Yes, and there are other support systems that we can put in place to make it even better. All right, yeah, so when we get into the details, we'll talk about
All right, so I mentioned earlier we'll be showing you a couple of videos of these selected young Africans who are making it wonderfully in their small communities for you to know that we have really got great skills. The first one, which is Asidu Abudu, who is in Takoradi in Ghana, who is doing marvelously well, manufacturing machines, vehicles, and I think you have to see it for yourself. So let's just relax and let's go and see what Asidu Abudu is doing in Takoradi, Inventor 1.
Today we visit a true inventor, Asidu Abudu from Ghana.
Oh, I invent so many things here. I have food finding machine, eating machine, car security gadgets and other things. So I have so many things here.
Asidu started inventing mechanical instruments at a young age. He would dream about extraordinary devices in his sleep, which he would then set about making the following day. Asidu now has an impressive portfolio of technical prototypes. His inventions are designed with the intention of making everyday life a little easier.
And I think about the people. When I have the idea in the dream, you have to sit down to think about the people who are going to use the machine too. So every machine I used to come out, I just study before I used to produce the machine. So like the eating machine that you are talking about, children used to play with the machines, the toys and this thing. So the reason why I come out with the machine, sometimes in some countries, because of the war and this kind of thing, some people just lose their hand and some of them. You see, so if the person don't have hand or there's a problem, the person cannot use his hand to eat. This machine, you just put the food on the table for the person, then you just set the machine there. The machine will feed the person time by time.
Some large-scale companies have taken a keen interest in Asidu's inventions, like a surveillance camera that can be monitored from a cell phone, and a mobile device that enables you to stall your car engine from your cell phone.
Okay, when you have my system in the car gadgets, and somebody snatch your car from you, or you meet armed robbers on the way to some place, you just go for anybody mobile phone or any landline phone. Then you point the code on the phone. When you point the code and you send a signal, the engine will stop, the engine of the car. This camera that I'm going to monitor now, the camera is at Tema, and here is Accra. It doesn't mind, no matter how the distance is, it can go anywhere, and within some seconds, you can know what is going on in their life. So if there's anything going on over there, if there's a door open there, and I add another technology to it. That technology gives the owner the signal to the owner that your door is open. The owner can open the camera to see the person who is going over there.
Although Asidu's inventions generate money for his small company, he's not a typical entrepreneur.
Okay, let me put it in this way. I'm an inventor. Even sometimes I don't want to go out. Every time I want to spend all my time with this kind of gadgets because they make me happy. If I'm used to come out with the technology, I feel happy than doing anything in this world. So I'm an inventor. Sometimes you have to sit down. Let's say if you have this design, 1 year later you have to come out with the same design but different type, one which is higher than the one that you did it already. So sometimes you have to go back to study what you have it already, then you modify that technology, and sometimes you have to bring another one. And you know, sometimes you have to go out there to see the problem that people they are facing over there, to come out to your shop to design something for them. So all over my life, I want to spend my life with this kind of thing. So, yeah, that's what I'm interested.
Alright, so we're right back on the show on African Student Voice. I believe you watched what Asidu Abudu was doing. You find that this guy had not had any, let's say, tertiary level education. He only got to the technical level, I think, senior high school. But he's doing marvelously well when it comes to creativity in technology. Pamela, what do you think can be done for someone like this? I mean, you can see that his prototypes are not up to the world-class level, but with some little push, it could be better. But let's talk about what higher education can do with people like this.
Yes, thank you. I think higher education can really identify these people. They can pick this as corporate social responsibility programs. Identify these people, give them the final, the little education they will need to support their innovations and inventions, so that they can market it out there. And probably not everyone can have all the finances to go through tertiary education, but some people are born with talents and skills to invent, to develop. And mind you, technology is not just about the computer and all that. When you're talking about simple technologies, anything that can make work easier or faster. So you don't really need to be in class before you can put up a tech stuff. You might probably not be in a tech class or being through a technology institution, but you might probably study business as a course in school. But you have so much ideas, inventions in your app here that you can just put down on paper. What you just need is the how to go about it, what you need to put together to bring it out. The final touches you need to make it marketable, to make people purchase it. That is what you need. So we don't really need that kind of formal education to really develop our nation or our country if we really want to. We have so many talents, as you were saying. This young man in Takrady is doing marvelously well. What he just needs is support. Someone just giving him that little push, giving him that thing. So if our universities can just identify these people, bring them up, bring them to the limelight, make them what they have to be, they'll become our next people developing the Benz, the machines and things, developing the Benz, new brands of vehicles. Yes, new brands of vehicles to compete with the outside market. So we really have to do this, and it boils down to leadership. If the leadership in Africa changes, all these things will change. Where are we driving our resources into? We are just thinking about today. What will just benefit us for today? If we think about our future, fine, you might think that this guy you put pumping this money into, or pushing all these resources into, you might not end the benefits today. But let me tell you, in the next 20, 30 years, you see that it would have transformed not only the community, not only the country, but the continent. Because a lot of people will now travel from places just to come and study from him, learn and take back. And I bet you, everything will change. So if our leadership could just drive a little force and energy and resources into these areas, we will get there. And this boils down to another question: how many R&D centers do we have in Africa?
You know what? Let's take the leaders' issues. We are really going to be there. We want to talk about the higher education aspect. From that, we'll now move to the leaders, their role. So let me go to Rich. Richmond, let's talk about. He mentioned that he began with the fufu machine. You know, Africa, we do fufu, the cassava, the pound, I think. He began with it many years ago at the age of 15. But something happened. Now that property, that patent, or the ownership of that invention is no more in his hands. It's in somewhere. It's one Chinese man, and he brought out a fully fledged machine that does for fufu, and he plays that patent on it for him. What do you think higher education can do for these people who are doing marvelously well when it comes to invention, but have not got that know-how to get their names on those properties licensed in their name? How can I help them?
Okay, to start with, I would say that I want to congratulate the tertiary in Ghana and Africa. Okay, they've made some step to the extent that they're able to place honorary doctorate degrees on people who have achieved some degree of successes. Okay. It may not necessarily be in their university, but they still go ahead and do it. And so I see no reason why such people, for example, talking about Inventor One,
Sure.
not stepping maybe in the university, but he's able to bring out such innovation.
Sure.
What prevents the university systems to honor such a person, to use their resources, their strength in order to look for support to commercialize such projects?
Yeah.
It's all about, she was talking about research centers and all that. These are intentional decisions because we know where we want to get to.
Exactly.
And so I believe, as they are already doing, this time we need it not, they shouldn't look for those who have been successful already. They should look for those who have potential and can make something out of Africa become great. And so it should be, I'm talking about a reverse action now.
Sure.
Now, instead of looking for the Amabins and co, those who have accomplished much, they should look for those with serious potentials like our friend in Takrady,
Sure.
and then invest in them. I think if we start from there, we'll make a way.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Sure.
touch on what he was saying. Aside also patents and intellectual properties and all that, we do not have the systems in place. So, okay, for now, if you come up with something, do you know where you go to get a patent? Do you know how to get a say that if you have this product, you know it is yours?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know how you go about it? Do you really have any idea about it? Thank you. How many people know about that? That if you really develop something, you need to register it, get it patented in your name. How many people know about that? That's why the Chinese and all those people will come and
I think
pick on all
that is
ideas. And a lot of things you see out there, let me tell you, a lot of the ideas are coming from Africa. Probably it starts with pitching of ideas. Come and pitch your idea. They come and just take ideas from Africa and then go and develop it. Patent it, it's in their company name. You know that this is your product deep down within you, but somebody is out there making a lot of money out of it. So if our systems are in place, and if someone is coming out of an institution, and in fact in the university we really direct our students that if you really have this idea, go to this place, go here, do this, do that, you will get this whole thing fully fleshed.
Sure.
We do not really, our education doesn't really take us there. They just teach us.
Yeah, just to add up. You see, we were discussing earlier that for some of these things, we have to combine our strengths.
Sure.
Okay, we have University of Professional Studies, a business institution. Tech is there. The Ghana Telecom University,
GTUC is there.
Yes, they are all there. And so with this, if you come to UPS, they are likely to teach you about business planning, all this, how to register your business and all that. Okay, and so I see that if the universities are putting their powers together, and then every year, every long vacation, we have students going for internship programs. Okay, tax them. Look for these people. This is what we have learned. Teach them this. If you want your business to do this, these are some of the ways you can do. I was in the North for 2 years. We used to receive some UDS students. They were doing a project on community town and community planning or something like that. They'll come and spend about 2-3 months in the community, collecting data information. So one time I called one, I was asking like, what are you guys doing with this information? So they just go and report on it, and that ends it. So every year, all the Form 1s or the level 100s and all, they come and do this and go and report, and you keep the information there. The place has not been developed. That is why you were there to look for some of this. And so if we get all this data, we get all this information, very good resource, and then the university is taking up upon itself that, okay, now to be more relevant to our nations, African as a continent,
Sure.
this is what we want to do.
Sure.
Go out there, look for these people with this special potential, these special skills. Let's help them.
Sure.
If you need this is where to get it.
Okay.
Exactly, because when we traveled to, I was here in Ghana for a long time. We went to Zambia, we came back. I was at the airport, I had a fly where there was all the various tourism sites with the information and all that. Look at where it is. Do you understand?
Sure.
Okay,
Well,
let's end it here. We'll come back.
Sure. So let's go for a quick pause. When we come back, we'll show you our next video for a young boy in Sierra Leone who also had a great idea, powering the community with solar energy and also having a community radio station just by himself. We'll be back.
Now that I'm finally here, I get the opportunity to specialize and understand certain aspects of the continent, like education, urbanization, job creation, and the likes. I'm really excited to be here because I finally get the opportunity to not only get all these things from a theoretical, broad standpoint, but then to narrow all these things down to what exactly needs to be done for the benefits of the continent.
Finding yourself in a diverse community of around 38 countries is quite interesting. I personally love it, I enjoy it. When you read on the logo where they say we do hard things, it's actually true. You're not going to be disappointed. To me, gradually, I'll say ALU was a dream come true.
Coming to ALU was so unexpected. For me, it was like a dream come true, like something unexpected, but I feel like I'm in the right place.
My name is Kelvin Do, aka DJ Focus.
Alright. It's the youngest DJ man Focus.
I'm from Sierra Leone and I love inventing.
Kelvin is extraordinarily talented. He literally goes to trash cans, finds broken electronic parts in the garbage and makes stuff on his own.
He's taught himself how to do incredibly intricate things with very, very little resources.
In Sierra Leone, we have not too much electricity. Lights will come once in a week and the rest of the month dark. So I made my own battery to power lights in people's houses.
Kelvin represents learn by making. He takes a part, looks at it, tries to reverse engineer it.
I made my own FM radio transmitter.
He made his own FM station because he wanted to give voice to the youth. He made his own generator because he needed it.
The generator supplies current to the radio station. This is the capacitor, and this is the spark plug.
This trip is his first time leaving his family's home. It's his first time leaving Sierra Leone, and it's tough, but it's an opportunity to create the future that he wants to live in. My name is David Moyne Nasenge. I'm from Sierra Leone. I'm a PhD student at the MIT Media Lab, where we have unlimited creative freedom. I wanted to ensure that young people like Kelvin also had this experience.
David has written visa letters, found places for Kelvin to stay. He's really got invested in him.
Alright, so welcome back. After watching the video, you saw Kelvin Doe and how he transformed things and how he got the help from where we didn't even expect help to come from. So let's come back to the issue. We know that our universities actually haven't done what we expect them to do in terms of identifying these raw talents and trying to give them the formal session of as a formal education to that informal they have. And that is really appalling from them. But let's talk about the issue of private sector. How can we actually raise these young African talents to partner with this our private institutions so that what they are doing can be commercialized on a large scale? How can we do it? Pamela.
Okay, thank you. And as I was saying before, earlier on, tertiary institutions have a greater role to play in this. In as much as we have the private sectors and all that, the tertiary institutions have a greater role to play. If you talk of development in a nation or in a continent, the tertiary institutions play a greater role.
Okay.
We may not have R&D centers. The tertiary institutions can adopt themselves as the R&D centers. This alone will encourage others to develop a lot of ideas, bring them into innovation and all that. Now, getting to that stage, we'll need a private sector support as well.
Okay.
Business-wise, how do we sell this product? How do we make it branded to make it look attractive out there?
Sure.
Fine. This also will need a lot of funding, resources, and know-how. The private sectors can also adopt these as their project, corporate social responsibility. Yeah. Let's all go out there and fish out these people and help them. If one person makes it in Africa, the person makes it for everyone.
Sure.
if I benefit from something, we all benefit from it. Let's not make it like if someone benefits, it sticks into that person's pocket.
Yeah.
Let's clear off that mindset.
Yeah.
If we take off that mindset, it will help us. Like in terms of private sector,
Sure.
you go out willingly to help a brother come out with an idea, and because a human being that is there. You talk of private sectors, as we that we are there.
Sure.
It's our brothers and sisters in the picture. So what
Exactly.
are we doing to help them? If you know that you can do something, it's not only in just innovations and all, it cuts across every sector for us to develop.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think we need all hands on board. We need everybody to just jump into this. You know someone that can do something. Help that person to grow. Don't bring that person down. No, let's not act as like crabs in a bucket, dragging each other's down. Let's help a brother to get to the top. And when you get to the top, help that brother that took you to the top to also get there. Yeah, I think we'll make it.
Rich, let's now look at the issue of higher education institutions not actually helping private sector to do what they are doing. So that's what they're saying. That industry is saying that our universities are not the other one. And the reason why we are not actually seeing you, because if they do their job very well, we also find you. We are looking at how we can benefit from your creativity, but they have not added a premium on you for us to see the good in you. So until the value is added to you from that point, we can't do anything about it. It come back to the research. Research, R&D is one of those important that transforms economies.
Yeah.
Singapore, South Korea, in particular, South Korea actually apportioned 4.3% of their revenue into R&D, and now they are the world leaders, innovators. Look at this footprint. What is happening in Africa when it comes to R&D, supporting this young talent to be supported by industry?
Okay, like you said, people set us a vision, directional. And so I believe that for some of these things, we have to be intentional and know where we are going, and then we work towards it. Until they did that, they wouldn't have been where they are. All right?
Sure.
And so I believe that the various universities we have in Africa, okay, we have been complaining. When you give political platforms people, they will talk about some of all these challenges. It's not news to us.
Sure.
We know them, that the education system and the business world, they are at different...
very long time, always battling.
And so I see some universities are beginning to do well. SSC, UPSA, and some of these universities, they partner with some of the industries, and then students are able to go and do internships. They learn the hands-on skills and all that. And some of these things, maybe they are taking it too slow for me, all right? Where there should be a serious memorandum of understanding whereby a lot of students can get access to some of these things. It's through these things that we can learn what they really want. What's in the books and what's on the field, there's a disconnect, all right? And so like I was saying earlier that Cosmos Energy, last year, my project work team member, Godfred Nate, I'm sure you might know him.
Yeah, Godfred.
Yes, his team was one of those who went through their pitching stuff. They have an incubation. They are
the Cosmos Innovation Center.
Yes, that's a highly private sector organization.
Sure.
All right, and out of these, they've been able to bring this innovation. They call them AgroPlast. They're able to produce plastic, biodegradable plastic from cassava starch, and now they are looking for support to commercialize and all that. So you see that their team, some are business students, others are tech students. So earlier I was sharing with you backstage that we shouldn't fear to partner. Africa, one of our big challenges is partnerships. Most of these big organizations out there, big companies, they don't fear partnership. They float shares and all that. Everybody owns part of the company. And so the probability for it to succeed is very high.
Sure.
All right. And so if we do not fear to partner and then we are coming together, I have a business background, you have a technology background, we bring our powers together, what can't we do as African continent? We have the resources, we have the people are there. And so I believe that if the universities pursue these organizations and then they are able to come into a serious partnership, they have their money. The monies are not the problem. It is the ideas and the intention that this is what we want and we are going for it. We will find a way.
Sure. Yes.
Touch on that. Looking at his story, the gentleman we just played this video, looking at his story, someone who is a native of that country,
Yeah.
but outside.
Yes.
Meaning
it's
there
the
have been a
environment.
change of mindset.
Exactly.
Who is outside, but an African identified him, took him out there to add some value
Exactly.
to him. So let's just look at this. If 100 people out there come and fish out our people and take them out, what are we losing? Gross brain drain.
Exactly.
And to get to a point, we'll have nothing in Africa. All our people will be out there developing other continents. Meanwhile, if we bring all these people back to Africa, Africans will change. But our mindsets, we the people here, the universities even could not approach him to help him. But an individual who is outside in a different university outside could pick him out to help him up there. So I think we need to also change our mindsets. Change the whole mappings.
Yeah.
Let's see how best we can help each other to get to the top, as I was saying. If not, every day I believe that, fine, this is what we have seen. What about the others we do not know?
Yeah.
If every day 10 people are taken out of Africa just to help them, add some values to them, to help them develop and bring out ideas and all that, it sticks there.
Yeah.
It does not, the credit will not come to Africa.
Sure.
They'll come back just because they will want to come and see their families and all that, but not to develop Africa. And that's why we'll be where we are and will not grow. But if we start identifying ourselves and start supporting each other, we'll get to the top.
Sure. You know, there are a couple of people out there, that, as you said, endless list of young inventors. We have the likes of Alabi Olushola in Nigeria, who uses potato power. Just potato, and then he connected some cables, and then he has power. And they asked him that, Alabi, do you have any education background in engineering? He said, no, I've not been to school before. But how then can you create it? So I just understand that when negative and positive meet together, that there's energy. So I just did that. Like that's just amazing. And we have energy crisis in Nigeria. Generators lined up, you hear the sounds just rolling out. But we have potato as a means of generating power, and as if nobody knows about it. I mean, what are we doing to ourselves? We have the likes of Felix Kwambire in Kenya. We have the likes of Gabriel in Nderetu, in Malawi, and the whole of list of young inventors who have the idea, who can create, and they will die off, unfortunately, just die off of the idea because government or leadership has not supported them. But let's talk briefly about leadership. What have you seen in African leadership that you think that if it does not change, we will not be able to actually lift Africa as the next technology hub in the world? What is the attitude that we should change in our leadership?
We only think about what will benefit today and what our family members could get. We don't think about the people. We don't think about the generation. We don't think about the next future. That is it. If we're able to change this mindset and change this attitude, we'll get there. And really, we must invest in our youth. Investing your child to go to school, starting from the nursery, kindergarten, primary, junior high, senior high. Are you going to benefit something? By pumping money into that individual that you are not really seeing that benefit. You only start benefiting when that child starts business. When that child starts bringing out ideas, doing stuff, and earns a lot of money, and then that child will fetch water and bring it to you to take, and you're like, wow, I'm really earning from it. So assuming we are really investing in our youth, ignoring the fact that this money is just going somewhere, invest in R&D centers, think about the future.
Sure.
Let's forget about just today. And I love what Ghana have started, the year of return. And this year, I heard that we are doing another, which is beyond the year of return. I want to acknowledge the president for that. It's good. It's a very bold step, you know, to really bring back our people to Africa to start.
So not only him, we have in Rwanda too. We have same transformation going on over there.
Yes. So we'll really need that, and we have to really change the mindset. It's a canker. Our leaders must change. we must move from that just today leadership and think about the future, think about the generation. Forget about what you earn in your pocket. Forget about the little corruptions and just focus focus on the people.
Sure.
Invest in the people, invest in the youth, and let's allow the youth to pick up the mantle.
Exactly.
Because the technology currently, the old men don't understand the system. As we, the youth, that understand, let's leave the mantle to the youth to handle it. And I believe we will transform.
All right. Yes, Rich. So let's talk about, just briefly, what do you want to find changing in African leadership so that we can have Africa bear the name as the next continent of technology? What should we see different? So, briefly, so we can just...
Okay. I was telling you about what we've started doing, okay, in the various secondary schools.
Sure.
We should believe in and pull the followers for a long-term vision. Ghana started a 30-year plan. It didn't succeed. We shouldn't relent. We should go back. Singapore has been successful at it. There is no crime in going to learn. All right? This is where I've seen you have gotten to. I want to be there. How do I get there? Leadership has to do with influence. If you're unable to influence the nation to pursue or to follow where you want to take them to, tell us this is what we want to get to, and then we follow.
Sure.
You can't be in Singapore and then you don't have an apartment as a young graduate. It is intentional plan. So I think that the leadership of Africa should be intentional about some of these things, and it's a brain work. All right. So we have to begin to teach from the youngsters leadership with integrity, the ability to say no to corruption, the ability to say no to bribery and all those bad attitudes, until they believe and accept it at a younger age. When at our time, I wanted to aspire for SRC president, okay, and then getting into it, you can understand me. Some of these, how the national politicians infiltrate into the student politics. You understand?
Sure.
And so if we don't take care, the current crop of leadership that we have that we do not like, we are likely to have similar sets when these people are not there. When I say this, I don't mean the ruling government, but I mean current leadership we have in Africa. All right? If they are not there, those of the generation that is coming to take over, if we don't take care, there won't be much difference. And so we should be intentional about training quality leaders who have integrity, those who are able to say no. An example is one guy I saw from Kenya, Lumumba.
Yeah.
Professor Patrice Lumumba.
Sure.
Okay. And then Meguna. I don't know if you've listened to that guy. He's so amazing. It's about integrity. When the environment is so corrupt, how do you stand out and say, no, this is wrong, I will not do it? That's what we are talking about. People, if people are able to say no to wrong practices, it won't take Africa much to develop.
Sure.
All right?
Sure.
And so I believe that if some of these things are in place, we'll be there.
Thank you very much.
We also have to, on that, we have to forget about politics and focus on leadership.
Exactly.
Smart.
We really have to focus on leadership and not politics.
We're actually out of time, so just sign that. So I mean, you've heard it all. We've heard it all. I believe you appreciate what has been said. That it's all about the mindset of the African leader to understand that whatever you do today is generational.
Yeah.
Think generational. It's about the continent, not yourself. And I will just leave you with a quote from one of the famous Chinese philosophers called Confucius, and he says that a man who moves who moves mountains, that person began carrying away stones. It means that it's not about you starting to do the big things, but beginning doing the big things in a small way. So if we start investing in our little capacity into our young, talented Africans, believe me, the future is just bright, and we'll just have the sky as a starting point and the limit. Thank you very much for your time for watching African Student Voices. I will ask that you put in more support into the African Student Voices movement and keep following us on social media, subscribe to our channel, and bring in your comments, because this is a movement together to achieve what we want to achieve, the best for the African continent. My name was Ajimo Chudak, and I was joined by Pamela and Richmond on this topic. Take care and see you next time on African Student Voices. Bye.